Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of Dapper Drams, where we taste and review whiskey to try to determine if the dram in our glass is indeed a Dapper Dram. Well, we're here in the library today, but don't worry, we can be as loud as we want! Library's closed for renovations right now. Lucky us. Well, today I have a very special guest, so I'd like you to welcome my brother, Anthony, who has come to help me taste this whiskey. Come on in.
Hi, everybody.
Thanks for being here. What are you wearing?
Clothes. What?
This is Dapper Drams, my man. Look at this. Look what I'm wearing. I am dressed nicely.
You didn't give me any specifications.
Get out of here. You go change.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that. I have a very high standard on this show. While he's changing into something more appropriate, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the bottle we're going to review today. This is a 10-year-old from Highland Park. If you're new to whiskey, you need to get to know Highland Park because they can produce some very good stuff. They also can produce some not so good stuff, but you take what you get. Anyway, this is... Come on back.
Okay.
So anyway...
So I think this is a little bit better. Sorry.
It's a little better.
I gotta say, I'm enjoying the atmosphere. I especially like the architecture of the...
What do you got going on? What is this?
Oh.
Get out!
Sorry.
Put something nice on. This... I'm so sorry, everyone. This is not how I wanted to start the show. Anyway, this bottle is commemorating the 30th anniversary of the character Inspector John Rebus, a very famous character in British literature, written by Scottish author Ian Rankin. Hey, Anthony, are you familiar with Inspector Rebus?
I've heard of him. Can't say I'm familiar with his work.
No? Nothing?
No, I never really got into it. Some kind of health inspector, right? Not my thing.
He is a detective, not a health inspector. Police. Okay. You trying to show me up? You trying to outdo me at being dapper?
This is what you wanted, right?
Very well. Let's get down to business.
All right.
Now a little backstory on the actual bottle that we're going to drink, not just the story behind the bottling. I was given the opportunity to purchase this bottle through Highland Park. I believe they released about 10,000 bottles, and they first held a sort of raffle. You put your name in the hat, and if they picked you, you won the opportunity to buy it. So I did, and they picked me. And I said, great, can't wait to try it. And I went to purchase the bottle, and they said, I'm sorry, we can't ship to the United States. And so I said, great. Oh, this is funny to you, is it?
That's a little bit funny.
Of course it is. So, a little while later, a few months, a year later, I don't remember how long it was, I saw that this bottle was available at auction. There were several of them available at auction, and at a reasonable price. I think the original price from Highland Park they quoted was £30, which in real money, American money, was about $35. I believe I got this bottle for 35 pounds, maybe 40 pounds, which was around $45, I want to say. So it wasn't a huge markup from what Highland Park was asking at the time. So I figured, good deal, I might as well get it. I wanted the bottle. I was very upset that I couldn't get it at first. So I said, well, in your face, Highland Park, I got the bottle anyway, and I live in the United States, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I mean, it sounds pretty good for something so limited, right?
Well, 10,000 bottles isn't that limited.
No.
When you're talking more like 2,000 bottles, 1,500, that's a little more exclusive. If you're talking about a single cask barreling, where you only get the number of barrels that you get out of one single barrel, you're talking anywhere from 100 to 300, depending on how big the barrel was, how big the cask was, if they diluted it at all, if it's cask strength, size of the bottle. All those things factor into how many bottles become available. Not important for what we're doing right now anyway. So, now that Anthony's here, I can give him his glass.
Ah, yes, that would help. Thank you kindly.
You are very welcome. So let's pour this thing, and we'll see what we've got going on today. I hope I have enough, because as you can see, this is a black bottle. I really hate black bottles, because you do not know how much is in there. Is there enough? How much do I have here? That looks like enough for right now, but how much do I have left? It doesn't look like very much, but how am I to know? I can't see what's in there. No, it's not much.
No, it's not much. He's a drunkie. He drank it all.
Speaking of which, have you heard from Jerry today?
No, I haven't talked to him in a couple days. Why?
Jerry is a friend of ours, friend of the family. I met him in high school. He's a nice guy, very nice guy, but he does not do well without supervision, which is a real problem because he's always asking to do odd jobs for different people in the family. And left to his own devices, nothing good comes of it. And I asked him to help me refinish a part of the floor here in the library today, and I have a feeling that it's not going to end well. And I don't know why I keep letting him go off on his own and do his own work. Highland Park is one of the island distilleries of Scotland. It's its own separate region. On this map of Scotland that is now covering my brother's face, it is in the green portion. Still covering. The island that Highland Park calls home is Orkney, the very northern part of Scotland, up top above the mainland. Well, now that we have our drams poured, let's go in for a nosing and a tasting and see how this dram ranks. You ready?
I'm ready.
First impressions is that it is earthy, vegetal, a little sherry sweetness in there.
I can definitely agree on the sweetness.
I should also mention that my brother here does not know much about whiskey. I'm sure he drinks it, I'm sure he enjoys it, but as far as nosing and tasting goes, he's never done it before. So his opinions are completely amateur. Not to say that they are wrong in any way, but just that his vocabulary might not be as expressive as some others who have reviewed whiskeys. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to bring up the words to describe this.
Well, then just give us your honest opinion however you can.
Okay.
It's savory. It's got a umami feel to it. Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire. How do you say that word? Worcestershire sauce. Kind of a... It's reminiscent of cooked celery or water chestnuts. And I'm sure I'm just confusing you by saying things like that, but that's what I'm picking up.
Yeah, I'm not getting any of that. What I can tell you is that it's not overpowering. It's very pleasant. I am enjoying it. I wouldn't call it light, just not very strong.
No, it's not very strong. Something I should have mentioned before. This whiskey is bottled at the legal minimum 40% ABV. Anything lower than that cannot legally be called a whiskey. It can be called a liqueur. It can be called a spirit, just not a whiskey by law. Anything at 40% typically, not always, but typically is going to be very light. It's not going to be overpowering the palate, not overpowering the nose. I should also mention that Highland Park is part of the Edrington Group, who also owns Macallan, Glenrothes, Famous Grouse. There's one other brand in there, but I can't remember what it is. But if it exists, I'll put a graphic up and tell you all about it.
I know at least one of those.
Is it Highland Park?
No.
Oh, it should have been because we're drinking it right now.
Besides that.
Which one?
Macallan?
Macallan is most likely the most famous Scotch in the world.
That's probably why I know it.
Certainly the most famous single malt Scotch. As far as Scotch in general, Johnny Walker probably has that title. That is a blended Scotch. It's not a single malt. As far as single malts go, I'm sure Macallan is number one. One thing to know about Edrington is they do not add colorant to any of their whiskeys. So the color of the whiskey in the glass is the color that it came out of the cask. So the reason that distilleries may add color to their whiskey is to help with batch variation. Whiskeys can come out different colors. It's not always from one single barrel. It's usually many, many barrels, and you can get discrepancies in color. So they'll add a little bit to help even things out. Now, in some cases, some brands, like Johnny Walker, they will add a lot of colorant because many people view whiskey. They'll pick up the bottle, they'll look at the color, and they'll say, ooh, this one's really dark. It must be good. I'm serious.
No, I believe it.
You see the color, and you see one that's very light, a very pale color, and you see another one that's dark, almost brown, and you'll say, ooh, the brown one. Because clearly it's been in the wood longer. It's had more interaction with the wood. Darker is better. And they'll pick that one on that fact alone. And it has nothing to do with the actual whiskey. It's just added colorant. Not something that I endorse. I understand using it to eliminate batch variation. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. Anyway, that's the story behind colorant. It's also important to note that this whiskey is chill filtered. Anytime you get a whiskey that is under 46% thereabouts, chill filtering often happens. They do this to reduce cloudiness. Oftentimes people will add ice to their whiskey or water, cool water. Nothing wrong with either of those. And if you let it sit a while, you will notice that you will get what is known as Scotch mist, where the whiskey will become cloudy. There's nothing wrong with it. It just takes on a cloudy nature.
I've had that happen before. I actually came to you to ask if that was natural, and you told me all about that.
During chill filtration, the temperature of the whiskey is brought very low, and then it is forced through a filter, which strips out proteins, natural formed proteins in the whiskey. The reason that this is important is because when those proteins are present and the temperature drops, they will condense, and you get that cloudiness. Well, if the whiskey was produced in a very hot area, say India, for example, and then it is bottled at a strength lower than 46%, shipped to a country that has a more moderate climate, it can sit on the shelf and develop that Scotch mist. So you can see it sitting on a shelf in a store, and it's cloudy. People are going to look at that, and they're not going to want to buy that. They're going to think something's wrong with it. It's bad. It's gone bad, dog. I want the clear one. Just one of those things.
Makes sense.
Anyway, I'm getting a call from Jerry. I got to take this, you guys. Like I said, he can't do well when he's not supervised. Hang on. Jerry, what's going on? Whoa. Wood shavings? Jerry, you're supposed to be buffing the floor right now. There shouldn't be any wood shavings. No. The buffer is blue. The floor sander is orange. Oh, Jerry. Okay, stop. Stop right now. Stop what you're doing. I need you to focus. Turn off the sander. Hopefully it's not bad, and you can use the buffer and fix what you screwed up. Just do it, Jerry. Okay. Bye.
Please don't tell me that just happened.
Yeah. this big, beautiful library, and he's using the floor sander to try to buff the floor. Okay, let's just get back to whiskey and pretend that that didn't happen.
Sounds good.
A little bit of raisins. It's odd. It's very odd for an HP. I've had many Highland Park whiskeys before, and this is by far the most off-profile for them that I've had. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying that it's different from all the other Highland Parks I've had. It's much more earthy, much more vegetal. It's not as smoky either. I know Highland Park is not known for being heavily peated. It's very lightly peated. But this one in particular is a lot lighter than most. It's there, but you really have to coax it out. There's some pickled ginger. Oddly enough, there's some teriyaki in there, along with the Worcestershire sauce.
I can agree with the teriyaki. I can smell that.
A little pineapple with that teriyaki. I love the combination of pineapple and teriyaki.
I'm getting kind of a vanilla vibe.
I do get vanilla. A little dry grass. And some lemon custard. It's got a little citrus feel to it. It's slightly malty at times, and then at other times, it's heavily malty. It's very strange.
I thought I was doing something wrong because it was kind of shifting for me too.
Yes, you will notice that. Anytime you have a whiskey that is sitting out for a long period of time, the whiskey will evolve in the glass. The alcohol content holds in a lot of the flavors, a lot of the nosing notes. As that evaporates, there's less alcohol to get in the way of those flavors, so you can pick them up a little more readily. You'll get more flavors, but also different flavors. Eventually, all this will evaporate, and you'll be left with nothing except a nice smelling glass.
But we don't want that.
We don't want that. I typically find that at the bottom of the glass, you get more of the sweetness. You'll get more toffee, caramel, maple. I'm not sure that we'll get that on this particular one because the sherry component is not as high as some other ones. Those notes are more prevalent in heavily sherried whiskeys. Anything else you're picking up on?
No, nothing else.
Why don't we go in for a taste?
Okay. Not quite what I was expecting.
Exactly. It wasn't what I was expecting either the first time I tried it. Very different than other Highland Parks. It's more vegetal, savory. Most Highland Parks I've tasted, you get a lot of fruit, a lot of citrus, more peat. This is very lightly peated. I'm hardly getting anything at all. Let's try a little more. I'm getting a little bit more fruits now. Pineapple, some apricots, maybe apricot skins. A bit of a kiwi tanginess to it. I like that. What are you picking up?
I can agree with the fruitiness. I was thinking more kind of a darker cherry.
Cherry. I don't think I picked that up before. Let me try again.
Not a sweet cherry. Definitely not a sweet. More like a bitter, almost not quite ripe cherry, but definitely a cherry.
I'm getting some more of the peat now. Not smoke, but peat. Of earthy peat. Which Highland Park is more known for their earthy, heathery peat than they are about their smoke. I'm not picking up on the cherry note that you mentioned, but I am getting a little bit of bitterness. Oak tannins. Which might be what you're talking about. More of a bitterness, like you said, a bitter cherry. I'm getting oak tannins. It's not bad, but it's not what I had come to expect from Highland Park. Picking up anything else? Did it get you?
Yeah.
It got him a little bit. That's that novice palate for you.
I usually just drink it. I usually don't swish it around. Not used to that.
It's an art. Give me a little honey now on the nose. Go back in, see what
Going
you
back
get.
to smelling?
Yeah. While he's smelling, I'll go in for a taste.
I still can't describe it.
Well,
like I said, I just don't have that terminology yet. I don't.
Yeah, and it took me a good long while. And on some whiskeys, even, I have to look at tasting notes. I have to look at other people's reviews. Because sometimes there is something that I am smelling, or there is something that I am tasting, that I just can't put my finger on. And so I use the tasting notes from the distillery or someone else's review as sort of a guideline. I'm sure at some point I am subject to the power of persuasion. Someone may say, I smell apples. Well, maybe I didn't smell that before. Let me try again. Yes, I smell apples. Maybe they weren't really there, but because it was written down, I suddenly could smell them. As far as a mouthfeel goes, it's light. It's very creamy. Kind of on the thin side, but it is creamy. It's also a little dry. The finish on it is medium length, maybe medium short. Again, it's dry. Creamy vanilla, some faint peat. I don't know if you know how to distinguish the difference between the palate and the finish. You got to give it a little while before you really know what's lingering to determine what's on the finish. If you just swallow and give it 2 to 5 seconds, you're not going to understand where the finish is and where the palate is.
Well, I wouldn't even know where to begin on the duration, the time zones there.
Well, right about now, what are you still tasting? Whiskey.
I'm tasting whiskey.
Are you enjoying the whiskey?
I am. I do enjoy it. I think it's pretty good.
Good.
I wouldn't say it's too light, but it's light enough.
That you can enjoy it without gagging on it?
Yes. Precisely.
That's that 40% talking. In the future, we'll have him back and we'll introduce him to some stronger stuff. Hopefully we can start out with something slightly stronger, maybe in the 43 to 46% range. I don't want to kill him with cask strength stuff just yet, where you're talking in the 50% range, sometimes over 60.
And those few percentages can make a big difference?
Yes, they can make a huge difference. So the question of the day is this a Dapper Dram? Well, I'd have to say no, not in this case. Yes, it has a nice age statement, 10 years, nothing to shake a stick at, but 40% ABV, chill filtered, it's natural color, which is nice, that helps it. But the overall profile, it's just lacking. It's too anemic at times. And for that reason, I'd have to say, no, this does not qualify as a Dapper Dram. We'll get to some later, though. Overall, this really was not what I was expecting when I opened this bottle. I'm not saying that it's bad, just very different. At times, it showed really good flavors. At other times, it showed mediocre flavors. But overall, I would have to say that this is a pretty good whiskey. And for the price, you can't really get much better. A single malt, Highland Park, for about $40, $45, that's a good deal. I know that you wouldn't know that because you don't buy scotch.
No, I don't.
That's okay. I won't hold that against you.
I drink everyone else's scotch.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So as far as the score goes, this 10-year-old Highland Park with me scores about 32 out of 50 handlebar mustaches. That's what I said.
What kind of show is this?
Well, how would you score it?
What? Nothing crazy like that. What is your scale? I mean, I go with the whole ants on a log method. I'm thinking more kind of a 39 out of 53 ants on a log.
Ants on a log. I'm not familiar with that scoring method.
Where have you been, man?
In the library. Where have you been?
Over in that section over there.
You know what? We're having fun here. You know what? I don't think there's much left in here. What say we finish it?
I am okay with this notion.
Little for you, little for me, because I don't know how much is in here. Apparently that's it. Killed the bottle. Okay. So that's how I rated the Highland Park Rebus. If you'd like to read the full review, please check me out on distiller.com. There you can read this and all of my reviews. Just search for the username generously_Paul. And for all you gamers out there, please head on over to Game Revival, hosted by my brother Anthony here. Anthony, why don't you tell the people a little bit about your channel?
Well, our main channel, our main videos are taking a look at all of the neglected and overlooked video games that have gotten lower scores, things that people have nothing good to say about, and we find what makes them good, what makes them worth playing. We believe that everything has something good in it, and the developers put a lot of time and effort into it, and I think that they deserve a little bit of recognition. So we show everybody what they're missing.
Jeez, don't write me a book. Keep it short. Huh? So please, any gamers out there, head on over to his channel and check it out. Jerry's calling back again. I really don't want to deal with him right now. Can you,
Really?
Just come on. I don't have the patience.
Yeah, Jerry. What do you mean? What? That doesn't... Where? Through the floor. Like all the way? How long... Did you switch the buffer? No, you're still using the sander. That's why it went through the floor, Jerry. What do you... I'll be up in a minute. I'll take a look. I'll fix it. Just stop for now, okay? Take a break. All right.
Please tell me that didn't just happen.
Yeah, he buffed right through the floor.
Why do I keep using Jerry?
Because he's a good guy. He means well.
Okay. I'm sorry, everybody. We got to go deal with Jerry. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time on Dapper Drams.